I got biscotti and froze, big boss like I'm Rose.
Hi. Hey. Nice to see you. I'm a dog mom. If I'd known there were people willing to celebrate my existence, wouldn't have had to get the damn dog. Because that's all any dog mom wants, right? It's just a hairy ego boost that can't escape. Yeah, after the 5th Tinder date managed to wiggle its way out of the handcuffs, I just started looking for a more permanent solution. Of course, there are 2 types of dog mom, and you can tell which type you're dealing with by asking them their dog's name. Now, if you're talking to someone whose dog is called Jasper or Benji, then you've got the first type, the one that's so desperate for a baby but can't make a man love her and keeps getting outbid by Angelina Jolie at the auction. It's a retro joke for you. Satire. My dog's name is Flump. You're not letting a baby anywhere near that woman. If a woman calls her dog Flump, that is a warning signal. Like, don't you be spilling your vial of sperm near her, or however it works, I don't know. Because child services are gonna have to get involved at some point. Since having Flump, I found there are quite a few differences between having a fur baby and a real one. The main difference, of course, being that no one cares about your fucking baby, Karen. No one gives a shit. There are loads of shit that's common practice with dogs that's frowned upon if you do it to a baby. Making them sleep in a cage, for example, eating off the floor, and of course if your baby tried to fuck you, someone has to go to prison in that scenario. That's right, I'm a MILF. But I'm his mum, he'd like to fuck. Guy's a little pervert, man. The way he clamps to my leg and just starts thrusting as if he's gonna create a hole through sheer force of willy. Absolute little pervert. And I invited him into my house. If a guy flashes you on the metro, you're not supposed to cook him dinners. Actually, I live in Salford and there's romance around here. You guys know Salford, right? You've at least heard our official tagline. Walk quicker, you'll soon be in Manchester. And we live in a flat, so every time nature calls, we have to go down to the Irwell. Realised I just said I live in Salford, so I'll clarify. Flump pisses in the Irwell. I piss outside the Bricklayer's Arms like everybody else. Just like everybody else. Living in a flat with a dog is like a timeshare that you didn't remember signing up to. Did I black out and select the part ownership model to dog purchasing? That fickle little horn dog just flits about the place, inseminating legs as he goes. But he spends an outrageous amount of time in the flat next door. They're a super sweet couple that live next door to us. They took to Flump instantly. They started sneaking little bits of ham and cheese, get him on side. And sometimes we'll come back from a walk and there'll be a little ham trail into their flat. It's cute, isn't it? It's very sweet. You wouldn't let that shit slide with a baby. You see a Haribo trail going into someone's flat, call the cops. Something is afoot. But with Flump, super cute, right? It does swing both ways though. It's not all roses bringing up a fluffy baby. There are things that real parents can do that society's just not ready for when it comes to a dog yet. Which I found out when I tried to breastfeed him in Morrison's. They were not happy. I saw in the paper the other day that millennials are all choosing to buy dogs instead of, talking to humans and getting into relationships and having kids. And eventually that might lead to the end of the human race, if you can imagine. And when I was reading this, I was super shocked. Because usually it's all bad news. I've come to this decision that maybe I will want kids one day. But I definitely couldn't stand them any longer than that, so I'll soon be sending them out looking for Haribo treats. Look, I don't want to brag, but I was voted the funniest person at my workplace's end of year awards, so I think I am pretty qualified to give you some advice about comedy. Just as qualified as I am to talk to you about mental health. You choose to watch this shit.
I got biscotti and froze, big boss like I'm Rose.
There are tons of evolutionary and social benefits to being funny. You can break the tension in a room full of new people, you can make new friends, build stronger bonds with existing ones, and even attract loads of mates with your massive wits. But I don't care about any of that. I'm here to talk about the cognitive benefits of speeding up the old brain box using comedic techniques. It's no good thinking of a witty response to someone 5 weeks after the fact. Comedians and funny bitches alike are sharp. They think fast and they react in the moment. This is of particular interest to me because I have low self-confidence and self-esteem. When I'm more relaxed and I'm in the company of people I know well, I can get a few laughs, but more importantly than that, I can converse in a way that is representative of who I know I am. When I'm not relaxed, my brain spots the danger and jumps ship, leaving me opening and closing my mouth like a carnival goldfish we all know isn't long for this world. I swear, there is nothing going on up here but sheer blind panic. Do you want to help? Not really. If I can accelerate cognition and train my brain to work quicker under pressure, fuck funny, I just want to be able to say anything at all and work my way up from that.
Ice and Winnie's, that's a domain. Low baddie, yeah, she homemade. Rep my city at the home game.
If you can think fast, it doesn't only serve to stop this social embarrassment. Speeding up your synapses will result in faster reaction times, problem solving, goal setting, and enhanced focus. Some studies have shown that being able to reframe negative thoughts in a humorous light can counteract the effects of depression. And being witty will make you appear both more intelligent and more confident. In fact, some studies have shown that humour is an indicator of intelligence, which shouldn't really be a surprise. According to all the theories of humour, wit involves putting discordant ideas together quickly, all while being perceptive enough to offend your audience a little bit, but not too much. Now that is clever shit.
Hop in, we zoom in, the package be booming. Yeah, we got it. She picky and choosing and low with the.
We probably all choose to surround ourselves with people that make us laugh, but the sense of humour shared between you and your best friend is probably a very niche area of Humorland. Like, we've all snorted milk through our nose because our best friend just, made a weird noise or pulled a face at the right moment. That kind of comedy ain't gonna go down well at the Edinburgh Festival, you get me? For the purpose of this exercise, I want you to think about the people that are in your life that the wider world seem to accept as a right bloody laugh. The friends who you've seen received well at various social events. The ones that have people in hysterics more often than not. Have you got them in your mind's eye? Is it me? Cheeky. Okay, now get your creep on. Stalk them. Invite them everywhere and hang out with them as much as possible, whether they like it or not. Preferably around other people as well. Study them. See how they move, what they say, how they adapt to the audience. Their timing, their body language, just how they are. The vibes are immaculate, honey. Comedian Andrew Schultz says that one of the best ways that he was able to improve his sense of humour quickly was to be around other comedians at comedy clubs. And if you don't have any funny friends, first of all, I'm sorry, but secondly, this could be an option for you as well, although pricey, and you will have to sit through quite a lot of bad comedy.
Yeah, we got it, we got it, got it. They cannot do what we doing, you see how we moving, we got it, we got it, got it.
For one thing, Angelina can afford a flat somewhere much nicer than Salford. For another, at this point, she doesn't even need to trick kids into her house. She gets them regularly as gifts for Christmas. 'Cause tis the reason to be Jolie. Then I want you to push yourself to move out of this role of voyeur as quickly and as often as you feel comfortable. The challenge of wit is in spontaneity, and you can hone it by regularly quipping with other people. And who better than that hilarious mate? Think of them like your comedy sparring partner and you throw the first jab. What did Batman say to Robin before they got in the car? Just like fighters get better at reading their opponents by reacting in a simulated environment, you will start to see your cognition accelerating if you put yourself in this lifelike position. Still, for now, with the comfort of your friend-shaped stabilizers. Get in the car, Robin! A lot of mixed metaphors going on.
Mess with the squad, you try to go against us, I highly doubt it. All of my bros, we got it, got it.
So comedians are just people that see the world in a different way. It takes a lot of brain power to connect the dots that few others can. You can start working towards this superpower by actively looking for the comedy in the everyday, in the normal, boring, bland, grey world around you, in the mundane especially. You can find funny in every daily action if you work to reframe your thinking. Think about the show The Office, and now think about your place of work. I bet you could identify loads more absurd activities that take place under that roof than you've ever seen in that show. Next time you see a passive-aggressive note in the fridge, or ladies' man Terry from accounts is rumoured to be sneaking into the copier room with another intern, acknowledge the material all around you.
What's poppin'? Don't mind me just watching.
Live life as if it was just like one big playground and amuse yourself, and you'll soon train your brain to search for these humorous narratives that no one else sees. And this different viewpoint will serve you way beyond making people laugh. You can apply this accelerated lateral thinking to creativity and innovation, which shows up anywhere from problem solving in a pickle to brainstorming in a meeting. When you're first starting to try this, it's a lot easier to recall events that have already happened than try to spot them in the moment. Start by thinking of an everyday event that you found frustrating at the time. How could you retell this story to be funny instead? Now, think about something serious that happened to you. What was absurd about that serious situation? Finally, a game you could play daily. Open up today's newspaper or go to your favourite online news source and use the headlines to inspire funny stories. If you're struggling, you could try this formula to start with. X thing happened. If that happened to me in my life, if I did that, ... For example, if a politician has lied through their teeth, and got little more than a rap on the knuckles, you could imagine if you lied that blatantly at work or, to your mother, God forbid, and what catastrophic consequences you would face. This is a great way of training yourself to spot the funny and riff quickly and without shame. So let's see what my Google News is throwing up for me. The infinite retouch panel for Photoshop makes retouching fun again, because nobody likes sloppy seconds. Tesla records elderly woman keying car after losing parking spot. From the people that brought you innate racism, homophobia, and an aversion for equality. Speedboat sailor denies disturbing dolphins off Scarborough. I've seen the photos and those dolphins were disturbing.
They know for sure we got it, got it. Been on a roll, we got it, got it. We cannot go without it, got it.
Once you start to see the world in new ways, the next step is to try to make unexpected associations. Let me ask you something. What's the difference between a woman and a gun? Well, a woman is a person and a gun is an object. That's the main difference. It's not funny though, is it? Of course, there are loads of other differences. Something about a silencer and a gun. For example, the first answer is an example of concrete thinking. It's logical, it's rational, it's exact, it's analytical, it's serious, it's adult, and not adult in a fun way. When you answer with any other crazy connection, that's abstract thinking. It's illogical, irrational, dreamy, it's a guess, it's fucking funny. And there are a few games you can play to start speeding up your associations. First, pick a topic, any topic, and write down everything you can think of about that thing for 15 minutes without stopping. Everything. Every damn thing. Don't try to be funny. And the results will end up being about 80% filler nonsense. But without that, you won't get to the 20% of potential pure gold. Weird stuff you'd forgotten about. Words that are just funny by themselves, like bazooka. It's just good practice for letting your mind roam and considering all the possible shapes a joke could take or directions it could go in. Another game you could play is to look at all the objects around you and instead of giving them their proper names, like Fred, Gary, etc., come up with associations. This trains your brain to make those unexpected connections. And again, we're not actively trying to be funny at this point. It's about speeding up your ability to associate. For example, is this a chair or is it butt parking? Is that a counter or is it a short girl's jungle gym? Is that a coffee container or a really obvious place to store drugs?
Mess with the squad, you try to go against us, I highly doubt it. Been on a road, we got it.
In his book, Thinking Fast and Slow, Daniel Kahneman uncovers various concepts around decision-making and behavioural psychology. One big takeaway from the book revolves around two systems of thinking. System 1 is about thinking fast, while System 2 is about thinking slow. You can see where the title comes from, eh? While a lot of us believe to be deep analytical thinkers, we actually all spend most of our time in System 1. System 1 is all about intuition. It's what our gut tells us and we use that to make decisions. System 1 is the judgy brain, the bitch. But you need a foundation of knowledge and wisdom in order to make sure that those snap System 1 decisions are intelligent, beneficial, or even funny. There's no point building up your speed of response if those responses make you look like a twat just quicker. In my Joe Rogan self-trust video, hello friends, I talked about Rogan's incessant curiosity as a building block for his self-trust. If we stay curious, continually building a knowledge base, consistently learning new things, we can trust our gut because it will have the power of accrued wisdom behind it. No wonder Rogan feels he can trust his intuition with all the wisdom he's accrued. He never stops learning, he never stops gathering information and wisdom and creating this firm foundation that he can rely on when it comes to making snap decisions and trusting his gut. And as a comedian, he often needs said gut on stage and on his podcast. Check out that video for way more on building self-trust that will serve you when you need to think fast and trust that the noises coming out of your face hole aren't going to let you down. Thank you for coming along to this interview. First question is quite a high pressure job, so how would you perform under pressure? Pressure pushing down on you, putting down on me.
We cannot go without it.
I be on exotic, can mess with a toxic, curvy little body be all on.
Scans that have been carried out on professional comedians as they thought up something funny shows that they rely heavily on the temporal regions of the brain during this creative exercise. And stronger activity in this region correlated with the creation of a funnier joke. No joke. The temporal lobe is where semantics, abstract thinking, and remote associations collide. So we can bring together everything we just learned by strengthening this bit of the old grey matter. There are loads of tips for doing this, so you're going to have to Google it. But here are two of my favourites. Excuse me. Never stifle a yawn. The physical mechanism of yawning cools down the brain, leading to better mental efficiency. Who knew? Not me. And the second one is to pretend you're Research found that performing musical improvisation or rapping, which require you to think on your feet moment to moment, improves your thinking speed overall the more you learn and practice this performance skill. Okay, you guys give me a beat. Let's see what we can freestyle. Sorry about that. I think the camera cut out and missed my whole rap. Whether you want to sharpen your wits or just be able to think of anything to say in a social situation, these cognitive acceleration exercises are sure to have you winning the humour games. And remember, you're a funny bitch. Just channel that same energy you have in your private shower gigs out into the real world. Maybe the same costume choices as well. Oh, and take care of yourself, etc.